Hello, my dear students, and welcome back. Exams are just around the corner. I know. So let's quickly crack one of the most interesting chapters in your syllabus, The Adventure. It's a fantastic story that mixes real history with a super cool scientific twist. So let's just dive right in.
All right, so you guys are always on Instagram or YouTube, right? You must have seen all those what-if videos, like, what if this happened in a movie? Or what if that character did something different? Well, this whole chapter is basically one giant what-if for our own Indian history. Just imagine, what if one tiny moment in our past had gone a completely different way? So let's meet our hero. He's Professor Gangadhar Pant Gaitonde, a brilliant historian. One day, he's in an accident, and when he wakes up, he finds himself in Bombay. But wait, something's not right. It's not the Mumbai we know. The buildings, the names, everything feels familiar, but weirdly different. It's like he's woken up in another dimension.
Just look at this. Instead of Chhatrapati Shivaji Terminus, he sees Victoria Terminus. The city is still called Bombay. Okay, strange, but the real shocker is at the bottom. In our world, the East India Company was kicked out after 1857, right? But here, it's not just around, it's alive and thriving. Can you imagine? For a historian like him, this is an absolute impossibility.
And this map just shows how crazy different things are. In this alternate world, India is actually a strong, proud, self-respecting nation that was never fully colonized. The British? Oh, they were just allowed to stay in a tiny part of Bombay just for trade, while the rest of India grew on its own. It's a completely different picture of our country's history.
So, what does a super smart historian do when he finds himself in a history that makes no sense? Simple. He doesn't panic. He becomes a detective. Professor Gaitonde decides to go to a big library to read the history books there and find out exactly where and when everything went off track. He needs to find that one turning point.
And he finds it. He discovers that history in this world is exactly like ours right up to the year 1761. That's where it splits. The crucial moment is the Third Battle of Panipat. In our history, the Marathas lost that battle. But in the world he is in, they actually won. That single victory changed the entire future of India.
But how did they win? What was that one tiny thing that changed the outcome? He keeps digging in the library and finds this clue in a Marathi book, a historical account called the Bao Sahibanchi Bakar. This book holds the secret. And inside, he finds this one incredible line about the Maratha leader, Vishwas. It says, "A shot brushed past his ear. Even the difference of a till, you know how tiny a sesame seed is? Even that much would have led to his death." This is it. In this history, the leader survived by the smallest possible margin. Amazing. So the whole mystery boils down to this one tiny difference. Look at this slide. In the Alternate Worlds book, the bullet misses Vishwas. But in the book from our world, the one the professor knows, it says he was hit by the bullet and died. Just one bullet, one tiny moment, decided the fate of the battle and, well, the whole nation. Just think about that.
Now, Professor Gaitonde is a historian. He has figured out the what and the when, but he has no clue about the how. How can two different realities even exist? So for that, when he finally gets back to his own world, he rushes to his friend, Rajendra Deshpande, who's a scientist. It's time to bring in science to explain this crazy, unbelievable adventure.
Rajendra's first explanation is something called catastrophe theory. Now, don't worry about the big, complicated name. The idea is really simple. Sometimes, a tiny, almost meaningless change can suddenly trigger a huge, massive, and completely different result.
The best way to understand this is with a cricket match. Imagine it's the last ball of a huge match and our team needs 6 runs to win. The batsman swings and hits a 6. Woohoo! That one single shot, that one catastrophe as scientists call it, completely changes the result, from a loss to a victory. The bullet missing Vishwas was just like that last ball 6. It changed everything.
But Rajendra has a second theory, and this one is even more mind-blowing. It comes from quantum physics, and it suggests that our reality might not be the only one. There could be tons of alternate worlds, all existing at the same time, like parallel universes.
So what happened to the professor? According to this theory, he just jumped from one railway track to another. For 2 days, he made a transition. He left our reality, where the Marathas lost, and experienced the other one, where they won. He didn't travel in time, he just moved sideways into a different world.
So, how did this jump happen?
Rajendra explains it as a perfect storm of three things. Number one, the trigger. Right before the crash, the professor was thinking very, very deeply about the Battle of Panipat. Number two, the interaction, the physical shock from the collision. And finally, the result. This combination triggered the neurons in his brain and caused him to make that jump to the other world.
Okay, so as we finish up, let's talk about one very important exam question that often comes from this chapter. How exactly does this story blend real history with fiction? Let's break it down so you can write the perfect answer.
Here is your answer in 3 simple points. Point 1. The story is built on a fact, a real historical event, the Third Battle of Panipat. Point 2. It adds a fantasy element by changing the result of that battle. And point 3, it uses science as a bridge. Real theories like catastrophe and quantum theory are used to make this fantasy twist seem believable. Fact, fantasy, and science. Simple. You'll get full marks with this.
And that's the whole chapter in a nutshell. It's such a fantastic story that shows how one single moment can change everything. I really hope this summary helps you all do brilliantly in your exams. All the very best. If you found this useful, do me a favor and share it with your friends. Bye for now.